What's up, traders? In today's video, I'm going to be performing a market forecast on Euro USD using smart money concepts. So stay tuned. It's been quite a while since I did a market forecast video here on Euro USD. I believe the last time I did one was May the 1st, where we actually had to sit down and talk through the analysis. I like to do these videos specifically on one pair at about the start of every month, just to give you guys a rough idea of what I'm anticipating price action to do on that pair for that particular month. But it also gives us an opportunity to see how we go about applying smart money concepts to an actual price chart and how we can use them to find possible trading opportunities, right? So as always, we're going to kick things off here on the weekly time frame. And you can see that overall, as was the case the last time we did our market analysis video, is that the weekly time frame overall is bearish. We've seen our bearish break of structure in here. This is our larger weekly range. And the anticipation is for price action to go ahead and violate this week low. Now, we have been in a pullback phase here on the weekly time frame, and price action has been interacting with weekly supply, which sits at the equilibrium. Now, as soon as price action reaches the equilibrium, our bearish continuation can take place at any point in time. So if we zoom in just a little bit more here, you can see that price action has been respecting this weekly supply area in here. We actually have a new supply area which has chained off of this initial supply area, and price action is currently interacting with that weekly supply. So in order for us to see that bearish continuation take place, realistically, this current weekly supply area which price action is interacting with will need to hold and will need to give us that bearish push to the downside, right? Targeting that week low. Our initial sell target from this area would be weekly demand down here. What you'll also notice is that we have some nice trend line liquidity that sits just above this particular demand zone that price action can look to target on its way to the downside, okay? Now, because this demand zone is essentially a previously unmitigated area when price action was trading bullish, by the time price action comes back to interact with the zone, we can regard it as a potential reaction point. And what that means is we can anticipate price action to give us potentially a short-term bullish reaction before that bearishness continues, right? Because it is a previously unmitigated zone. What that means is realistically, this particular demand zone would not give you that strong push to the upside to go ahead and violate the strong high. Obviously, there is that possibility, but the chances of it doing that are fairly low compared to just a short-term reaction before price continues down lower. Okay, so from where we are currently, would like to see that bearishness. However, for you pattern traders out there, this is going to seem fairly familiar to you guys. What you've got is you've got price action seemingly printing, right, an ascending triangle in this area in here. So what that looks like is you've got price action with a strong impulsive run to the upside, and then you've got price action giving you this ascending triangle behavior. All right. Now, what this pattern represents is it represents a potential continuation opportunity where price action would break above this particular high in here, retest that and continue, right? This is a pattern that oftentimes signals a potential continuation. Okay, now if we are to see price action give us that break and continuation, right, it would just mean that our pullback phase is not ready to end just yet, and we would now be seeing a deeper pullback into our premium priced area. Okay, realistically at that point, our next target would be this extreme weekly supply all the way up here. We've got some nice trendline liquidity, and we also have some nice imbalance that sits just below the zone. I acknowledge the fact that we have this weekly supply in here, but as you'll see, this weekly supply was already tapped into and price action rolled over. And for the most part, you want to focus on fresh zones, all right, for price to be attracted to. So while we could still see price action push up and give us some form of interaction with this supply in here, definitely possible, I would say that this extreme would be the one that I'm really interested in, all right? Now, it's important to realize that when looking at the weekly time frame, all we're trying to do is we're just trying to get an overall feel of what price action is doing, right? What that underlying volume, what that underlying momentum is likely to be when we look at those intraday time frames. So it would seem that there is potential for price action to break above this area and give us a continuation of that pullback. However, we would definitely need to see weekly supply in here fail first before that takes place. Now, dropping down to our daily time frame, and what you'll notice is our daily time frame is currently pointing bullish. All right, no surprises there. We are in a pullback phase, all right, of our weekly range. That pullback phase is a bullish pullback. Therefore, our daily time frame, which is essentially the internal of our weekly time frame, it goes without saying that that particular time frame will be bullish as well. Now, I quickly want to draw your attention to this range that I have marked out in here. All right, you can see that we have our daily swing high, daily swing low, and I have it marked out as a daily break of structure in here, with this being my new daily week high up here. All right, now the reason I wanted to point this out to you guys is because you can see that we do have a break and close above this particular swing point in here, okay? And that particular break would have originated from this low down here, hence the reason I have this low marked as my strong low. But what you will also notice is that after price action gives you this break and close above this level, right? You don't really have any follow through. There's no real bullish conviction after that break. And whenever I am marking out my external structure breaks, okay, I like to see some bullish conviction. I like to see some follow through. If you look at this particular break of structure in here, you'll notice that we do have a break and close above our external structure swing point. But after that break and close, we have a bullish follow through. We have price action following through with that bullishness, all right? So generally speaking, when I mark out my breaks of structure, I tend to look for breaks of structure like these as opposed to breaks of structure like these, even though both of them do give me a break and close above. Now, there definitely is nothing wrong with marking out your break of structure like this, because what you'll notice is off that break, we get a new high and price action fails on 2 occasions to actually violate that high. But for me personally, what I like to do instead is I like to focus on these breaks. So what the range would look like in this alternative scenario is this would be your strong low. This would be your break of structure, your most recent break of structure. And opposed to this being your new break of structure, this would actually just be your current daily week high, all right? And what you'll notice is that in a similar vein, we haven't had any real strong violations of this particular level when compared to something like this, right? But both approaches are definitely correct. So for the purpose of this video, we will stick to that initial way of marking out this particular range. And what you'll notice is that we are currently trading within this bullish range. Now, our anticipation is for price action to go ahead and violate this daily week high. If we are to see a violation of that daily week high, notice how it would lead to the violation of this weekly supply area in here. And that would help facilitate our deeper weekly pullback, right, into premium pricing. Now, our weekly bearish continuation, okay, will only be confirmed after price action goes ahead and violates our daily strong low. Our daily time frame will need to switch bearish first in order for that weekly bearish continuation to take place, okay? So at the moment, because our pullback phase has not ended yet, our daily time frame is pointing bullish. We did get the break of structure in here. We had the pullback into discount of our daily range. We had a very slight tap and mitigation of this inside bar demand zone in here, price action was then forming a bit of a demand chain from this point, pushing price higher. It obviously then came in to interact with this weekly supply in here, which we can see also had a couple of daily supply zones in there that price action interacted with. However, at the moment, we haven't seen any real bearishness coming off of that weekly zone. If anything, after this initial internal change of character here, after price action went ahead and tapped into that weekly zone, we haven't seen any strong internal closes below these lows, right? We've only seen price action sweep these levels. And whenever you see price action sweeping liquidity in this manner, it should alert you to the fact that we could be seeing price pop off in the other direction, right? Because what is liquidity? Liquidity fuels our price movement. So we've seen a nice grab of liquidity in this area. And what price action actually also did was it went ahead and it tapped into this daily demand zone in here. So we have now seen price come back in from an internal point of view, mitigate this, and we could now very easily see price action push up and mitigate this daily week high. In order for us to do that, we would need to see a break and close above this particular internal high in here. All right, now the reason I point that out is because if we drop down to our 4-hour time frame, you'll notice that that internal high is actually our 4-hour strong high. At present, our 4-hour time frame is pointing bearish. Now, our 4-hour was bullish as price action was trading up towards this daily supply in here, okay? But then we printed a 4-hour change of character in here. You can see that after the initial mitigation, price action went ahead and printed this 4-hour chalk. And it is off the back of this 4-hour chalk that we are now trading within this bearish 4-hour range, with this being our most recent 4-hour break of structure. Now we have had 2 attempts to violate the 4-hour week low, but as you can see, because of the presence of this daily demand zone in here, price action really struggled to really break through and give us that bearishness to the downside. This is again adding to the narrative that we could be seeing, okay, that daily bullishness continue and go ahead and violate that daily week high. However, that will only truly be confirmed, that bullish continuation from a daily point of view will only truly be confirmed when we see a violation of this 4-hour strong high. Because at the moment, in order for your daily to continue bullish, your 4-hour needs to be bullish as well, right? Your 4-hour facilitates what happens on the daily time frame in the same way that your daily time frame facilitates what happens on the weekly time frame. So we would need to see a violation of this 4-hour strong high, right? But interestingly enough, what you'll notice is that price action is actually approaching our extreme 4-hour supply zone in here. Now, there is every chance that this supply zone holds and actually pushes price action down lower to carry out the current objective, which is a violation of the 4-hour week low. All right, so very interesting what price action does in this particular area. You can also see that as price action was struggling to violate our week low in here, we actually built up a nice amount of trendline liquidity. Price action is grabbing a lot of liquidity as it is approaching this extreme 4-hour supply zone. There obviously is just a smidge of imbalance that sits just below that area as well for price action to fill. So definitely keep an eye on how price action interacts with this particular POI. We can anticipate some form of bearish reaction from this particular area. Whether that bearish reaction will be enough to actually give us a violation of the week low remains to be seen. But that is the current objective of this particular 4-hour range. Understand also that a violation of the 4-hour strong high will help in facilitating this bullish continuation from a daily point of view in order to violate that daily week high. All right. And then obviously a violation of the daily week high would then signal a much deeper pullback into premium pricing of our weekly range. So it definitely looks like there is potential for some prolonged bullish price action here on Euro USD. In the immediate future, however, our 4-hour time frame is going to be very critical in determining whether or not we see that prolonged bullish period, because of the fact that we are currently approaching an extreme 4-hour supply zone. Like I said, it does have potential to give us that bearishness to the downside, to target that week low, which has been struggling to violate. I do believe that this struggle to violate the week low was just a way of building up some liquidity in order to facilitate a mitigation of this particular zone. However, price could easily violate that strong high as well in order to facilitate that daily bullishness. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure that you give it a like, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future content. As always, I appreciate you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.